Today I'm going to get into Chapter 5 in our QuickBooks tutorial textbook, going over some maintenance activities that we have uncovered, and some of them we've touched on before. So first off, on page 3 we're going to talk about adding a new vendor. So we want to go into our vendor center by hitting vendors at the top of the home page here. And then we're going to buy from somebody new XYZ Warehouse. So you can see the start of that on the bottom of 5.3 and then all the information we need on 5.4. So from our list of our vendors here, we could come up here at the top of the page and select new vendor. We could right click anywhere in our list of vendors here and select new vendor as well. And then we'll type in the information for XYZ Warehouse. Then fill in all the detail information, phone number, website, addresses, etc. The billing and shipping address. And under the payment settings tab, give them an account number, our credit limit with them. Nope, we didn't have that. We got our payment terms, and under the account settings, we'll put in what we'll generally buy for them, from them, inventory. We'll have discounts. And we'll have shipping. So you can see the pictures on 4 and 5 will look just like I have them here. So once you're done with that, you can hit OK. And you see they show up in our list. On 5, 6, and 7, we're going to change information from a customer . They're going to get a new website and credit terms. So we want to find the customer Sunway Suites. So I'm going to hit home, go back to my home page. I'm going to click on customers in the center of the screen. Then I can double click on Sunway Suites. Or once again, I could right click and I could go to edit customer job. Or on the right side of the screen under customer information, I could hit the little pencil guy. So once again, multiple ways to get in and do what we need to do. So under payment terms, we can change those to net 30. Under account info, we can enter in the website. See the pictures on 5.7. 5.8 talks about deleting a customer, and this we've talked about a little bit before. So it wants us to delete Travers Bed and Breakfast. So if I was going to delete them, I'd right click and select delete customer job. It's going to go, are you sure? And you see it didn't have any problem doing that because we had no accounting info tied to that customer. When you clicked on them, the right side of the screen there was blank. We hadn't done anything. Whereas if I wanted to do something with Ameristay International and I right clicked and I try to delete customer, it's going to go, hey, you've used them in transactions, don't do that. If we want to get rid of them, you can just select make them inactive. So I click Make Inactive, and you see from my list of active customers, they are no longer there. If I want to change the drop down box here to all customers, you see they show up with the little X. I can click the X there and bring them back if I wanted to. Page 11, we're going to talk about adding a general ledger account. So you remember in our practice set, you had your general ledger in the back of the flowchart book, and you were pretty much tied to all the accounts that they already had. Now QuickBooks, when we create a company, is going to give us a default set of accounts, but we're going to have to tailor them to our business and add things as we go through and use them. So I'm going to click Chart of Accounts here in the upper right corner under Company on my home page, and you see here's the list of everything in our general ledger. And we are going to add 4 401k deductions. So I'll just right click anywhere in my screen there. I'm going to select New. And we want Other Current Liability. So in the drop down box at the bottom, I'll select Other Current Liability as my account type. You see we've got basic ones in here: income, expense, fixed asset, loan, credit card. So the most common ones that you would create. New sources of revenue to tailor to your business, new expense accounts as you use them, new fixed assets as you buy stuff. So I'll hit OK, and then we'll give it an account name and a number. Call it 401k deductions payable. Add in the description of what it is. And once we're done, hit Save and Close, and you see that shows up in the list of our general ledger. Next, it's going to move in and talk about some inventory stuff. So I'm going to close out of here, go back to my home page, and we're going to change the cost and price of an inventory item, and we're also going to create a new inventory item. So we'll click Items and Services. Here, once again, under a company in the right side of the screen, and we're going to find item 103. Here are the washcloths, and I could either double click on it, or once again I could right click and select Edit. And down here our price is going up, so we're going to change our cost. And if our cost is going up, we're going to change what we're selling it for. So we can just type the new items into the cost and the sales price boxes there in the middle of the screen. And it'll match the picture on the top of page 13. Hit OK. You can see my new price shows up. If I'm curious how many I have, you see that shows up here in this window as well. On the bottom of 13, top of 14, we're going to add some new stuff. So we decided to sell new items. So we're going to right click and we're going to select New Item this time. And we'll select Inventory Part for the type. We'll type in 118 for the number. And then don't forget to type into these description boxes, because these description boxes will be what information on the purchase side, what shows up in your purchase orders and your bills, and on the sales side, what shows up in your invoices and sales receipts. So you need to have that in there. And then when I'm typing in the cost here, that's what's going to automatically fill out into my purchase order. When I put into the sales price, is automatically going to fill in into my sales receipts and invoices. So saving us time later on when we're entering this stuff in. Once we're done, hit OK. You see that shows up. I'll do a little organizing there, and now it goes to the bottom of the list. Now we're going to adjust our employee pay rate. So I'll close out of this, go back to my home page. And one area we haven't really looked at so far is the Employee Center. So you can find the Employee Center here on the bottom of our home page by just clicking Employees. You can see our list of employees. We're going to find Mark Phelps here, and we're going to give him a raise. So we just double click on Mark's name. Once again, opens up this window similar to the Customer Center and the Vendor Center. And we're going to come under the Payroll Info tab. So we're going to give him a raise from 14 to 15 bucks an hour, and then overtime from 21 to 22.50. And then once we go in to run payroll later, this should be updated and be factored into that payroll once we do it. And if I go click back in, you can see the updated rates show up. And the last thing they talk about on page 16 is maintenance on the fly. So we've got the area for all these items, but we can also create them and add them from other areas. So for example, open up a blank invoice on your home page. You see under Customer Job in the upper left corner, we've got the list of our customers, but we also have Add New. So we could click Add New and open up that same window from our Customer Center that we had and create a new one. We could come down here under the items. See, we've got all our items, but if we were doing something different, we could click Add New. Once again, opens up that new added inventory item. And we really didn't talk about sales tax, but down here under the sales tax, we could create a new sales tax item. And that also happens under items and services as well. So there's multiple ways within QuickBooks to deal with stuff, to handle stuff, to create stuff. And if you ever get an assignment where you have to create something, you have to create a person, you have to create an item, you have to create a vendor, whatever, you guys can do it. You have the power. It might not be a mistake on my part that it's not there. It's that I want you to make this and have this new thing. So that's chapter 5. It's a pretty quick chapter. Once you move on to the next one, check out chapter 6, and then we'll have a combined chapter 5-6 assignment over both chapters, since this one is so short. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks.